Matches Balone.
Hey, what's up guys? Matches Balone here, bringing guys another DC Toy Box TV review. Today we're going to be looking at the Legions of Collectors exclusive Pop Heroes DC Comics Superheroes number 136, Catwoman. Okay guys, like always, before we get into the figure review, I do want to go over the packaging. As you can see, this is your standard Funko Pop box where we get an open window packaging right there, and we get to see a glimpse of the figure inside. Right here in the corner, we get a cartoony image of the same figure. Up top, we get a Pop Heroes logo, DC Comics Superheroes logo, and the number 136. Catwoman of the DC Comics Superheroes is the 136th figure of the overall Pop Heroes line. Right here on the window packaging, we get an exclusive DC Comics Legion of Collectors sticker. Basically, what that means is that if you wanted to get this Funko Pop figure, you can only get it through Legion of Collectors bi-monthly subscription box. Right here on the bottom, we get to read Catwoman as well as vinyl figure. We get a warning and an age recommendation of 14 and up. On the side of the box, we get to see the entirety of that cartoony image right there. Up top, we get another Pop Heroes logo. Across the bottom, we get to read Catwoman, number 136, and we get a DC Comics logo right there in the corner. Then in the back, we get to see that same cartoony image right there. We get another Pop Heroes logo, number 136, DC Comics Superheroes logo, Catwoman, and then we get to see some more of the figures inside of this DC Comics Superheroes pop figure line. That looks really cool. Across that, we get Collect Them All. Underneath it all, we get a DC Comics logo, Batman logo, Warner Brothers logo, and in the corner, we get a Funko logo. Then on the other side, continue with that open window packaging, we get to see the side of that figure in there. Up top, we get another Pop Heroes logo. We get Catwoman written across the back. We get the top of that cartoony image right there. And we get the number 136 once again. Then we get the same cartoon image up top. We get another Pop Heroes logo. And then on the bottom, we pretty much get some manufacturing details in several different languages. We get a Funko logo, an exclusive DC Comics Legion of Collectors sticker, and we get Funko's social media contacts. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the packaging, guys. We are going to get Catwoman out of her box, and then we can check her out. Okay, guys, here we have Catwoman out of her box. Now, if you guys went and saw my Legion of Collectors unboxing video, you would know that I was super excited to get this figure. And I still am excited, but there seems to be a couple of little inconsistencies and little irking things in the figure itself that kind of lose my excitement a bit. And I'll talk about them as the kind of review progresses. But for now, the first thing you can see is the figure. Now, I do have this figure a little sideways, and the reason being is that this figure cannot stand up straight. If I put it in a face forward position, it just wants to tumble over. And so I'll show you guys that right now. We're going to rotate her head. So here she is face forward. This is how you would get her out of the box. And so if you just set her down, she tends to fall back. Now, that is really unfortunate, and that's mainly because she seems to have a lot of weight in the back. She has kind of like her little skirt right here with her cape, and then the headpiece. Now, I'm pretty sure this is what's really the biggest problem for this figure. This seems to be a separate plastic piece that they've kind of glued onto the head, and that's really what's bringing down most of the weight. I'm trying to get you guys some light, so it's like, I'm not even doing this on purpose. She just seems to be very heavy in the back. So that is a little unfortunate. I do have to kind of put her sideways to just kind of stand her up a little bit. You could already see she almost wanted to wobble back. What's really weird is that if I try to put it on the opposite side, she tends to still fall back. So that's a little unfortunate as well. I'm going to have to be covering her whip a little bit if I want to stand her up straight. So that is, a really big deal breaker for me. Overall, the figure does look really cool. I know in the Legion of Collectors video, I did say this was like her 70s, 80s look. I was mistaken, and it was one of those things that as soon as I said it, I was like, no, that's incorrect. This is basically kind of like her late 40s, early 50s look. This is what a lot of people consider to be her first real kind of like supervillain costume. So I really like that. This is just like her purple dress with the green cape. Now, the costume itself in the comics was very simple, so you don't expect any kind of like design quality. Inside of this figure is just very plain purple dress with a cape, but I really do like it. It speaks to kind of like the simplicity of the figure, of what time period she's coming from, and I just really, one of the big reasons why I like this figure so much is because they went with this outfit. Catwoman's one of those characters that has been in comics and in movies and all types of media for many years, and so she has a lot of different outfits and a lot of very kind of iconic imagery for that figure, or I mean for that character. I apologize. So it's really cool to get a different figure that kind of sports a different outfit throughout her history. So I really like that a lot. Like I said, very simple, but it works for the figure. You do have, like I said, her purple dress right there with a green belt and gold buckle. She does seem to have some type of green necklace right there on her neck. And then this is obviously the cape that flows on the back. She is wearing some black boots right there, no gloves. In the back, you do have her cape. Now, the cape is fairly stiff. You could wiggle it just a bit, but be precautious. I was actually doing this, and then you could hear that kind of like cracking sound. So I was scared that I might have ripped it off. So just, kind of be precautious. It is very stiff, but there is a little bit of give in there. What I really like about this figure is that she does have an accessory whip right there attached to her hand. Now, of course, any Catwoman fan knows that the whip is very iconic to Catwoman. It's probably her most signature weapon to use. So I really do like that they added it for this figure, kind of like almost a great homage to where the character has been and where she goes. Now, what I really like, just like a little side note, is that every time I see the Batman Returns film and Catwoman is in that shopping mall and she starts whipping the mannequins, my sister always yells that Michelle Pfeiffer did that in one take. So now every time I see this figure, I'm gonna think of that just because of the whip. So it is pretty cool. Now, you already saw that you do have head articulation. You could obviously rotate the head. I'm pretty surprised it does a really good job. I figured the hair might have been a little bit of a hindrance, but it does seem to rotate around fairly easily. You do give it just a little bit of a push once it gets to those edges, but overall it looks really good. You can see the back right there was the cape. Looks really awesome. Now, the head sculpt is really good as well. I do like how they portrayed the Catwoman mask. It just looks really awesome. I also liked that these do look like proper cat ears. Catwoman, sometimes she can tend to look almost a little bit like Batman. So I do like that they kind of went in and they molded proper cat ears just to really make that differentiating view from the Batman cowl. So it looks really nice, nicely painted throughout the whole thing. So very clean. One of the other complaints that I have is that there is a little bit of a paint mishap right there. You could see some of that kind of like skin color start to bleed into the black of the mask. Again, it's not a big deal. Right here on the bottom, there is some plastic cut. You can't, or at least I don't think the camera picks up too well, but there is just a little bit of a plastic cutout, which again, it does annoy me just a little bit. I really would have liked this to be just really clean and pristine, considering it is, an exclusive figure. So that is a little annoying. The biggest gripe I have for this figure for several reasons is the hairpiece. Now, we already talked about how this is kind of weighing the figure back and she falls over. But something that I really dislike is the fact that since this is a separate plastic piece, they did glue it onto this figure, and you can see right there a little bit on the edge the kind of like white glue outline. So that is just very, sloppy work. There's really no other way to put it. So that's super annoying because every time I'm gonna look at this figure, you really can't hide that. You're gonna notice it right away. And it's also seems to be a really big gap between the head and the hair. Again, I don't think the camera is picking it up too well. You could definitely pick up the glue, but the gap and other things, the hair itself does look really nice. I do like that they molded it and it has the wavy lines to kind of look like flowing hair falling back of her mask. But it's just that glue that really annoys me. And of course, because this is, extra weight, she can't stand up. So that's another really big unfortunate thing for this figure. So, you know, it's a real bummer to be me right now. I don't have any of the other classic DC superheroes for me to kind of like compare her to her, and I don't have any other Catwoman pop figures. You know, I just started to properly collect Funko Pops this year, and I'm still having a small collection, but so far no real Catwoman figure. So that's another reason I was super excited to have her, because Catwoman is one of my favorite characters. But again, you know, the simple fact of the kind of like the weight, now she's gonna have to be kind of like pushed back in the set instead of being up front. So that is really unfortunate. Anybody who collects, Funko Pop knows these guys are kind of like dominoes, and if one falls, you know, the whole stack of them is gonna fall with her. So that is pretty annoying. But yeah, overall, you know, there's really not much more I can say. I really do like the figure. I definitely liked the design of the figure. I liked, you know, the costume that they chose and everything about it. It's just a really awesome figure. The only problem is it just doesn't stand up. So that's super annoying, personally to me. But yeah, that is pretty much it. My figure review, guys. Go ahead, comment down below with any of your thoughts and opinions. Have you guys already got this figure in your collection? Have you guys have a huge Catwoman collection that you guys want to, you know, get angry at me because I don't have any Catwoman in mind? Whatever your thoughts and opinions might be, go ahead, comment down below. Like the video if you guys like it, dislike if you didn't, and subscribe and look forward to more videos, guys. Thanks. Laters.